So I want to go ahead and talk about sympathy plays. Now, what are sympathy plays and how do they work? Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you. This is the S&P 500. This is the minute chart. And if I go over here, I'm going to go ahead and turn this into group 2. And I'm going to show you guys, this is the S&P 500. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys Apple. AAPPL. This is 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and go to minute. You guys see something very similar with these charts? Look at the SPY. It goes down, and then it goes up. Let's look at Apple. It goes down, and then it goes up for the rest of the day. Now let's not just look at Apple. Let's go ahead and look at Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't exactly follow the same trend. Microsoft had their own little problems today, but it went down, started down, but as the SPY started to go up, what happened to Microsoft? It started going up. So these are sympathy plays. Sympathy plays means whatever happens on the SPY usually affects what happens here on another stock. So it's not just Microsoft, it's literally any stock that's involved in the S&P 500. So what's another stock that's in the S&P 500? Bank of America. Not every stock will follow the SPY 100%, but if there's a major movement in the S&P 500, then all the other stocks are going to have this trend. And notice how towards the end of the day, they all start grinding up. Now, let's look at, this is Bank of America. Let's look at another stock that's a sister stock to Bank of America, Citi. Messed that one up. Citigroup is another stock that looks exactly like Bank of America. And it follows pretty evenly, and towards the end of the day, it starts riding up. It's not going to be 100% of a match, but you know the general direction. If I see Bank of America riding up, in the beginning of the day, I'm going to see Citigroup start riding up. Now, the percent change isn't always going to be there. However, I do see that it did go up. Bank of America, you can see it went up. The percent of change for the stock from its opening to the high, from this stock's opening to the high, is very different. It could be 5-6% different. But generally, the stocks like to follow the same trend. So this is Citi. Let's go ahead and look at PayPal. I think PayPal is a bit different as well. No, look at that. Kind of look like the same stocks. Notice how Bank of America had this run up and then it crashed. PayPal had a huge spike up. You know, the difference is maybe 1%. Let's see, how much did PayPal move on this run? PayPal moved 5%, almost. This stock moved from its open. Let's go from the just open. From open to its high, it moved about 1%. So this moved 1%, this moved 5%. These are sympathy plays. Sympathy plays are when the stocks follow each other in the general direction. So what stocks are sympathetic to each other? Well, sympathetic stocks are just stocks that generally fall in the same category. So stocks like Nvidia, I think it's NVDA, Nvidia, and stocks like AMD, if I can spell for once. Those are sister stocks. They follow the same trend. Now, Nvidia had its own little run. AMD did, actually no, it went about the same. But I know Nvidia had some more movement because of Snap. Now Nvidia has some major movements. These are sympathy plays. Generally, if you want to look for a stock that's sympathetic to another stock, just look at what stock's in that category. So I know Nvidia's heavy. If you go to sectors, I think it goes here. If you go to market, I can see what stocks are in what sector. So for example, automobiles and auto parts, Tesla, Ford, right? GM, Rivian. Rivian has always been ripping up, right? So if I see Tesla going up, what's another electric car company? Rivian. If I see Ford moving, I'm gonna look at GM, right? However, if I see Tesla moving, any of these other motor vehicle stocks, Lucid, NIO, all these stocks here in this category are also probably going to move green. Goes for communication and networking, right? I don't know much in this area. I know Nokia, and I know Cisco. What other stocks in this one that people might know? I don't know, but generally Cisco and Nokia are probably the two biggest ones. MSI, I feel like I've heard of that, and Motorola. But if I see Nokia moving, Cisco is going to move big too. Now, how do you know which stocks are going to move big? If I see Nokia moving, I know Cisco is going to have a bigger jump because Cisco makes a bigger part of the S&P 500. That's why here Cisco looks bigger, right? So if I go to automobile, I see Ford is getting funding from government. Well, Tesla stocks actually might move up because Ford is getting funding. Just because, automobiles are getting funding now. So Tesla might move. GM might move because of that. And what, let's see. Yeah. If Ford gets some really good reports, let's say, Ford publishes a study saying that electric vehicles are the future. Well, Ford has electric vehicles, but who's bigger in electric vehicles? Well, Rivian and fucking Tesla. So they might move bigger than Ford. The point is, if one stock in a sector is doing really great, more likely a bigger stock is doing even better. If I see Tesla's doing good, I'm going to look at GM and Ford. Now, there are times where, stocks generally don't follow the same trend. So let's look at Snap. And let's look at, I think, Twitter. This is Snap, this is Twitter. They're both social medias, but Snap had earnings today. So Snap was up in anticipation for earnings, which actually had a run up. Twitter had a run up, and it started running down. So it kind of followed closely. But then around 12 o'clock-ish, noon, Twitter started dumping down. Well, Snap held its level, and it dumped down and bounced back up, only because Snap had earnings. So there's people having faith in Snap. So that's where it kind of derails. Sometimes you see movements like that, right? But if I go from Twitter and Meta, I can see that, they generally followed the same thing. Somewhere around 12 o'clock, they started dumping down. I saw there was a revive. Let's look at here. At 13:37, there's a pump up in Meta. Let's go over here to Twitter. 13:37. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Does this area look different from Meta? Let's see. We start getting a pump at 13:29. 13:29. 13:29, we have a green candle. And then we start crashing down, which is a bit more. We crash down all the way to 13:36. From 13:29, 1329, we get a green candle, all the way to 1326, all the way to 1336, we're in red, right? So this area is deviating. So all the way to 1336. This is running up, and this is running down. 1329. Well, let's look at 1331 all the way to 1336, just so I get my numbers right. 31 to 36. 31 to 36. 37. Running down, running up. This deviation tells me that, hey, Twitter is going up, Meta is going down. There's no difference between these two stocks because they're sympathetic. So if I see Twitter moving up, I'm going to go on Meta and I'm probably going to buy calls because it's moving down right now. So the sell-off is overdone because Twitter is going up. The sell-off here on Meta is overdone. So then we see this huge rip up. And also, I would like to add that Meta holds a bigger stake than Twitter does in the S&P 500. So keep that in mind. So we see that huge rip up. Obviously, we see a rip down. At 1405, we start trending up. Let's look over here. Do we see a trend up? Oh, we see a trend up at 1357. 1357, we have a trend up, but we still trend down. That's interesting. We're trending down on Twitter, right? But we're trending up on, let's see, what did I say? 1357? 1358. 58, we're trending up. So 58 to 1407. That's kind of overdone. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Last line. Oh, god damn it. I think I have that one. There it goes. There you go. So that's a bit overdone. So now what happens to Twitter? Well, Twitter realizes the sell-off's overdone here, so it starts pumping up. Now, there's some consolidation, because it's trying to consolidate in this area, and now as we see, Twitter starts running crazy in this period, and we're consolidating in this period, right? So in this period, we're consolidating. That means consolidation means trend sideways. We're trending sideways, and here on Twitter, we're just running up. So then what happens? If Meta is trying to be sympathetic to Twitter, and Twitter's trying to be sympathetic to Meta, either Twitter's going to fall down, or Meta's going to play up. And guess what happened? Meta fucking spiked up. We spiked up 0.84%. That's almost 100% gain on options. Just because you're looking at differences in these plays. Now there's people who read the differences 24/7. But if you look at differences, like if you're watching Twitter, if you could be watching two stocks all day. This is how the strategy works. This is how, like, because I can't fucking watch every stock and look for a difference. Right? That's just insane. Well, let's say I pick two stocks for today. I'm picking Twitter, I'm picking Meta, right? There's no news on both. Snapchat had a lot of news. So obviously I'm not going to play Snapchat and hope that Meta is going to follow, Snapchat today. No, because Snapchat is having its earnings today. So I know the other two is Twitter, Meta, Pinterest. Nvidia might fall in that category. Depends on who you ask. Nvidia is more of a chip company, so it falls more with AMD. But some people have classified Nvidia with the social media and the networking platform. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I'm not really involved with Nvidia that much. But moving on, that was enough for me ranting. People will pick generally two stocks that follow within the same category. Example, Twitter and Meta, Nvidia, AMD, GME and AMC, so GameStop and that one movie theater, right? So, and they'll just watch it. And anytime there's a difference, Twitter's going down, Meta's still trending sideways, right? Huge breakaway, right? So here, 1423, what's 1423 looking like over here? Or 14, yeah. Let's see, 1423. Where are we at 1423? Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, 1423, we're still trending sideways. We're still falling within our levels, right? We start having our run up. It's going down, just consolidating. Meanwhile, we're seeing higher highs and lower lows. This low is higher than this low. Or this low is lower than this low, sorry. And this high is higher than this high. So as we're going, we're running. This is a bull trend, right? And we're just trending sideways because the market doesn't know what to do. And then people start realizing, hey, Twitter's going up. Well, let's fucking follow it. Boom. Right? And the volume kicks in. We start trending down. Probably overdone. As you can see here on Twitter, we start trending down. Where's the peak? 1510? Peak over here was 1510. So it started falling down around 1506. So it started trending down around 1506 to 1510, 1511. 1506, we have a pullback, and it runs up a little bit more, right? Boom. Probably tells me we're about to hit. If this starts trending downwards and the volume's kicking in downwards, well, it's going to tell me something that maybe, just maybe, this is a bit overdone. So now we start falling. You can look at it however you want. Now, in the moment, it's very hard to spot. And that's why I don't usually like to do sympathy plays. Unless I see, if I see Rivian start going crazy, I'm going to look at Tesla and try to piggyback, or Lucid and try to piggyback, That's only if I see Rivian start Rivian's picking up some volume, right? Rivian's getting some, Rivian earnings are coming out really good, all right? Well, I can't play Rivian option if Rivian has earnings. So what am I going to do? I don't want to pay for the implied volatility, so I'm going to go on Tesla and I'm going to buy calls if I think Rivian's going to go up. See, that's how it works. And example, speaking of earnings, Twitter hasn't really done anything. However, Twitter dropped after hours. Meta dropped after hours. What would signify such a big drop? Could it be Snapchat having the world's shittiest earnings today? Snapchat had earnings today, and that's why it was different. However, earnings came out, and then what happens if we see this social media company comes out, and man, this Snapchat has shitty earnings. Well, who else is in the social media sector right now? Twitter, Meta, Nvidia, Pinterest, all those companies. Let's look at Pinterest. How much? Bet you $1,000 Pinterest went down after hours. If I can spell Pinterest correctly. Boom, Pinterest shot down after hours. Is it a coincidence how all these social media stocks dropped after hours because Snapchat dropped after hours? Nah, I think that's really funny. Really, really funny. Really, really funny. But usually that's how people play sympathy plays. So if I see, let's see, I see Meta start running up really, really early in the market, right? Like Meta's tanking early in the market, right? So I'm going to go to Pinterest. Pinterest tanking really, really early in the market, right? Pinterest started out with this really green candle. At 9:31, Pinterest had a really, really green candle and it held. But, Meta really didn't hold that candle. So what am I going to do? Am I going to follow Pinterest, who has 211,000 volume? Or am I going to follow Meta, who has 731,000 volume? I'm going to follow Meta because Meta has more volume, right? So Pinterest is smaller than Meta, so whatever Meta does, Pinterest might follow, right? So I see Meta can hold this 9:31 candle. In this minute, I'm going to buy puts, and I would have made some money on puts. So from here all the way to down here, I see I didn't grab my gain percentage. I would have gained 1%, 1.5%. That's about 100% on puts. I like that money, right? And then I know to sell my puts because when Meta spiked up at 937, go to 937 here, it didn't spike up as bad, couldn't hold it. But hey, maybe that's my indicator that I need to sell my fucking puts on Pinterest. Meta shot up 937. 937 on Pinterest didn't shoot up as much. But that's where the key differences come in. That's how people make money on the fucking market. That's how people make sympathy plays. I'm watching Meta all day, right? And I have Pinterest options. And I do that sometimes with the SPY. If I'm on SPY, and let's say, what's the hot sector of the day, right? Let's say the sector that's doing really, really good for today is tech, right? So I'm going to go to, Apple. And if my tech sector is doing really, really good today, right, I'm going to buy calls. I'm going to buy calls on Apple. And if my SPY goes up, I'll be watching SPY. I won't even look at Apple sometimes. I'll look at the SPY. And if I see my SPY running up, my options on Apple are probably going to run up even higher. Now, I think tech had a relatively shittier day. And although it did follow the SPY, it didn't follow 100% as it usually does. As you can see here at 937, Apple was down. 938, the switch happened. 937, it came back up. See, even this difference, I see SPY running up on 937. Here on Apple, 937 is still down. I'm buying calls. Huge candle up, 0.52, 52% on an option. 22% on an option here. However, I'll be watching. Actually, this is a bad example because I'm trying to say Apple's doing good today, but in actuality, it was doing shit, right? So, if my SPY comes tumbling down, right, my SPY's crashing down here, and I have Apple puts because the tech sector opened up down today. So I think Apple opened up relatively high compared to yesterday. Did run up, but it ran down, right? So I know my tech sector is doing, once again, changing it again. I see my tech sector doing really, really bad this morning, right? I open up my heat map. I see tech stocks down. Apple's down, Microsoft down, all those guys are down, right? I see my SPY, and it's running up. I'm not going to buy calls, but when the SPY starts running down, I'm going to buy puts on Apple because the movement downward is going to be way more significant than the movement downward on SPY. But going back, I want to point out something else too. 937, we're seeing this candle go green. 937 on Apple, we're seeing this candle red, right? So this is part of that key difference. Once again, people pick two stocks. Sometimes people like to do the S&P 500 and a tech stock, and as long as there's no significant news on that stock, it'll generally try to follow the SPY. Now, if Apple came out and said, oh, we're doing best sells that we've ever seen, obviously I'm not going to look at SPY and try to trade Apple puts when the SPY goes down because Apple's going to start doing its own thing now. However, today Apple kind of sticked with the SPY. 937, we're having a green candle on SPY. 937, we had a red candle. So I'm saying, okay, green on SPY, red on Apple. I'm buying calls because the SPY is about to move. When you know it, the SPY jumped up 0.22%. Apple jumped up 0.52%. Option magnifies that by 100. Congratulations. You made 52% compared to the 22% you would have made on SPY. This is a legitimate play, and there's just, they follow each other a lot, and when there's differences, that can make a lot of money for some people. And note how it's green, red, green, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, 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 red. See, this is a difference area. We're seeing a difference area. Apple's trying to trend sideways and is falling down. Apple was falling down in this area. Well, I guess the SPY's falling down too. From 10.02 all the way to 10.27. Apple starts falling at like pretty hard. 10.02 all the way to 10.27. Let's see. 10.28 is a green candle. 10.28 is a green candle as well. Any significant difference that could be profitable? Let's see, at 10.35, 10.37, see? Look, 10.35 are red, then we get these two red candles. We get these two red candles at 36 and 37. It's very interesting. Over here at 36 and 37, we got green candles. If I can get my rectangle. We got green candles in this time period. That's a difference. So look at this next pop. 0.14%, 0.18% pop. And SPY starts running after that. But let's actually measure the bigger difference, right? So that you could have made 18%, or you could have made 18% compared to 14% you would have made. But running from here all the way to the peak on SPY, you would have only made 71% on options, 70% on options. Now let's look at Apple and do that same exact thing, right? Now Apple had a little bit of a run higher, second candle, but we're only going to look at that first hump. So we're only going to look at this first hump up here. Now I'm going to run my options right here. And I'm running all the way over here. We're looking at 0.79%, almost 0.8. 70%, 80%. That's a 10% gain difference you could have made. It's cheap, but it's easy, because I don't have to care what the stock's doing. I don't have to really watch it. All I have to watch is the SPY. If the SPY's going up, I know my Apple calls are going to go up. SPY's going down, I know my Apple puts are going down. And I do it on a sector of the market that's highly volatile right now, right? So that's Apple. If I go to Microsoft, the changes are probably a bit more extreme, right? Microsoft started running, Microsoft ran really high. So let's go from let's see, what was the high of the day for the SPY? SPY high of the day was 12.33. 12.33. Actually, Microsoft ran a bit higher than that. Did Microsoft have anything important today? Because it does look like it trended off the SPY. Actually, let's go ahead and look at Apple here. I wasn't playing. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Where were we seeing this difference on Apple? We saw the difference on Apple at, let's see, 10.36. What happened at 10.36 here? Oh, look at that. Microsoft switched at 10.28. Was there a switch at 10.28? There was a little one. And then pumped down. Looks like Microsoft and Apple were following each other. We said 10.38 was a big candle. 10.37 was a big candle. 10.37 was a big candle. It was a red candle. So this is green. That one was red. 10.38, we saw a 0.10% jump. On this one, we saw 0.18. Okay, so it looks like Apple had the bigger jump on that one. But it looks like Microsoft ran. I would say ran a bit higher. So the high for Microsoft at the time, going from, where was it? I would say going from the switch here, 10.28, all the way to fucking the high of the day, 13. We had about 2% gain. So going from 10.28 all the way to the high of the day. 10 to 8. Let's see it. 1028. Oh, let's go 2029 just for the sake of it. All the way to the high of the day. Yeah, about 2%. Let's go over here. 2.16. So we ran what percent? We ran 2%. 2.77. We ran 2.16 here. 2.15, 16. So Microsoft did beat Apple on the overall gain, just on that one candle strike. It was pretty huge. Pretty huge difference. But yeah, those are sympathy plays. That's basically how it works. If one stock moves up, sometimes a little bit of love goes to the other stock. Now I think I already covered earnings, right? I think so. So yeah, that's basically how it works. That's how some people play earnings. Obviously, if I look at options for Snap, the implied volatility for Snap options, look at that. 500% implied volatility on Snap. 423% implied volatility on Snap. For calls, dude, that's insane. For puts, we're looking about the same, 421. But look, 423. Now, if I go to Meta, and note, Meta and Snap had the same pump down after hours, right? But if I go to Meta, and I want to look at options, add widget, options, calls, let's see, all of them, obviously. Am I really overpaying for a call option? I'm seeing 88%. Now, if I go to puts, I'm seeing 88%. Now, people are going to get crushed by the IV. Implied volatility, no one's going to make money off of Snap, but people are going to make money who held Meta puts. People who held Pinterest puts are also going to be. Look at the IV. Oh, IV on Pinterest was pretty high too. I guess a lot of people were playing that. Badu was that? I think that's one. Badu. Is it Badu or Bado? Is the stock that owns TikTok? Forgot which one that was. Let's look at Twitter. 92% IV, 400% IV. This is where people can make money on the options. Now, I'm not going to lie, the implied volatility is still very high on these stocks, but relative to 400%, crazy. I think the one with the lowest IV probably was Meta. Had the lowest IV. So, my opinion, that's how you do earnings plays. I know Snap has earnings. I predict Snap earnings were going to go down. Not telling, I don't want to get into the details of how to predict earnings, but if I think Snap earnings are going down, I'm going to look at Meta and I'm going to buy puts because sympathy plays say they both go down. That's how it works. So my puts on Meta would make me way more money than me being spot on with the puts on Snap. But the implied volatility, the IV crush, is going to kill you with Snap options. There's no IV crush on Meta options. Yes, Snap moves more, but I'd actually make money doing Meta puts. Because tomorrow, all the people who bought Meta puts and Meta calls, Snap calls and Snap puts, they're not going to make any money. Because they overpaid so much for that implied volatility factor. That IV, implied volatility, 423%. That stock has to move, that option has to move 423% in order for them to make any sort of money on these options. So Snap should probably be moving 4.2% in this drop, which I think it might do it because Snap dropped a lot. Oh shit, Snap dropped almost 30%. That doesn't sound right. I still think people are going to be out of the money for Snap puts. Yeah, 27%. Damn. Snap really fell. So they might make... I still don't think they'll make money. That is a huge IV. And that IV crush would kill. Maybe. I'm now giving it in the realm of possibilities as maybe, because Snap dropped quite a few dollars. It's at $12 and it was at 16. That's kind of a mental fucking drop thinking about it now. But yeah, I'd make way more money doing these puts. I'd be way more comfortable in any normal scenario. Now I feel kind of dumb now because yeah, that's a fucking I didn't look at how bad Snap dropped. Wow, I'm blown away by that. That's so fucking bad. That's so bad. I know a lot of people who did Snap calls. I mean, who did meta calls and Snap calls, but they're paying for implied volatility. God damn, dude, that's fucking huge drop. That implied volatility actually might have been worth it. Now looking at it, I don't know. People definitely overpaid for those Snap puts, and now that is priced in on that option, right? That is way overpriced, and people were doing Snap calls. Snap puts, you might be able to get away with it because of how severely it dropped. But if you have a Snap call, you paid, a huge premium on your option, first of all. And you went wrong direction. So you lost everything. Those calls are going to be worth pennies tomorrow. That's crazy. Imagine being $5 out of the money. What's $5 out of the money? That's $21. What's a 21 option right now? 0.25, and that's with implied volatility. So you're probably looking at 0.15. You paid $1.40, and you're probably gonna get a 15 cents back per option. $15 back per option. God, that's mental. Dude, that's crap. That's so crap. Oh man, that's so crap. Dude, I'm having like a bro moment right now, and just looking at how bad that is just so sad. Can't wait to see all the people on Wall Street bets just crying. But yeah, the implied volatility here, 423%. Implied volatility here for calls, 88%. I like my odds better. I like my odds on choosing meta options, and just for the same shit to happen. And I think meta dropped 5%. 6%. Actually, no, that's wrong. So let's move it. Yeah, about 6%. Meta dropped 6% after hours. Picked back up a bit. So tomorrow it might heal. Might heal by tomorrow. But still looking at a 500% move, 500% gain on meta puts right now, compared to possibly maybe 100% gain on a snap put right now, because you overpaid so much for that implied volatility. I'm very interested in how snap puts are going to play tomorrow. That was a fucking huge drop. That people are going to be dying for options to exercise. But yeah, that was it, guys. So that's basically how you play earnings. For another video on how to play earnings. This is also another video on. I'm putting this one video into two categories. That's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be how to play earnings, and how to learn sympathy plays. That's gonna be a strategy video. So I'm gonna leave it here. Peace out. You're on your way, and good luck. See if I can stop the video real quick. And bye.